Did you know that there are ancient spiritual laws practiced in Africa that could unlock the secret to health and longevity? These laws, passed down through generations, hold profound wisdom that many of us are unaware of. What if these practices, steeped in centuries of tradition, could offer insights into how we think about wellness? Why do some African communities continue to live longer, healthier lives despite the modern pressures and challenges they face? Could the key to longevity actually lie in a different perspective on health, one that blends physical well-being with a deep spiritual connection? In many African cultures, health is not viewed through a purely physical lens. It's deeply intertwined with the spirit, mind, and emotions. For centuries, African communities have understood that true wellness transcends the body. Spirituality is not just something practiced on Sundays or during ceremonies, but it is woven into the very fabric of daily life. In many ways, the health of a person is a reflection of their spiritual alignment and their relationship with the universe around them. This means that practices focused on mental clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual grounding are considered essential components of health. African spiritual practices are often grounded in respect for nature, ancestors, and the community. These traditions maintain that a person is not separate from their environment, but is part of a larger interconnected whole. From rituals and ceremonies that honor the earth, to holistic approaches to healing through herbs and ancestral wisdom, African spirituality offers a roadmap for living harmoniously with oneself and the world. These spiritual laws don't just protect the physical body, they align the individual with the larger forces of life, offering an inherent sense of peace and well-being. But how exactly do these spiritual laws work to promote health and extend life? And why is it that these communities, despite not having the same access to modern healthcare, still thrive and live vibrant lives? In this video, we'll explore the hidden spiritual laws of health and longevity from African traditions. We'll uncover the practices that could change the way we think about wellness, offering a new perspective on how the mind, body, and spirit must work together for lasting health and vitality. In many African cultures, health is viewed through a holistic lens, one that encompasses not just the physical body, but also the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of an individual. The belief is that true wellness comes from a harmonious balance between all these elements, rather than focusing solely on treating physical ailments. In African traditions, health is more than the absence of disease. It is a state of balance and alignment with one's inner self, the community, and the natural world. The integration of spirituality into health practices is seen as essential, as it addresses all layers of a person's being, fostering a sense of unity and well-being. One of the fundamental spiritual beliefs in Africa is that every individual has an inherent connection to the divine, the ancestors, and the forces of nature. This interconnectedness means that one's health is not just a matter of personal responsibility, but is deeply influenced by the collective. In communities where these spiritual principles are central, health issues are often seen as a reflection of disharmony between the physical body and the spiritual forces that govern life. Illness can be understood as a sign of imbalance, either within the person or between them and the environment, suggesting that spiritual healing is just as necessary as physical treatments. This concept is not unique to one region or ethnic group, but is widespread across the African continent, with variations based on each community's unique traditions. For example, in Nigeria, particularly among the Yoruba people, health is believed to be tied to the well-being of the individual soul, known as ejire. The Yoruba believe that every person is born with a specific purpose, and when their spiritual path is disrupted, it can manifest as illness or misfortune. As a result, healing practices often involve not only the physical remedies, but also rituals designed to restore balance and alignment with one's destiny. The Yoruba have a rich tradition of spiritual healers, known as Babalawos or Iyalawos, who conduct divination to uncover the spiritual root of an illness. They may recommend herbal treatments, prayers, and sacrifices to the gods to heal both the body and the soul. These practices show how the Yoruba view health as a state of spiritual equilibrium. Similarly, in Ghana, the Akan people have a deep understanding of the connection between physical health and spirituality. Traditional Akan healing methods include spiritual rituals, herbal medicine, and offerings to the ancestors. They believe that the spirits of the ancestors play an essential role in safeguarding the health and prosperity of the living. If someone falls ill, it is often seen as a sign that the ancestors are displeased or that spiritual balance has been disrupted. Therefore, healing rituals may involve seeking forgiveness from the ancestors, as well as prayers and cleansing ceremonies to restore balance. This interconnectedness between the physical and spiritual realms is a central tenet of African health practices and illustrates how spirituality is woven into everyday life. In Ethiopia, the practices of the Orthodox Tewahedo Church also emphasize the spiritual dimensions of health. Healing within this tradition goes beyond medicine, with prayer, fasting, and the use of holy water playing a significant role. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church teaches that spiritual health is integral to overall well-being, and that sin, guilt, or lack of faith can manifest in physical ailments. In cases of illness, individuals may seek the intervention of church leaders or spiritual healers, who often recommend spiritual cleansing through prayer, fasting, or making offerings at holy sites. These practices are designed to restore not just physical health, but also spiritual purity, underscoring the belief that the two are inseparable. Across these diverse African cultures, the common thread is the recognition that health is not merely a physical state, but a reflection of spiritual harmony. These practices aim to address the root causes of illness, which are often believed to lie in spiritual disharmony, ancestral disfavor, or misalignment with one's purpose. In these traditions, spiritual healing is not just a remedy for illness, but a preventive measure that fosters a life of wellness, longevity, and balance. The role of spirituality in health within African culture speaks to a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of life. It teaches that physical well-being cannot be fully achieved unless one's emotional, mental, and spiritual health are also nurtured. In an increasingly modern world where we often compartmentalize health into physical and psychological domains, these African traditions offer a powerful reminder that true wellness can only be realized when all parts of a person are in harmony. For many, this deep spiritual approach to health has allowed them to live long, vibrant lives, highlighting the importance of looking beyond the physical symptoms and considering the whole person, their spirit, mind, and body when seeking to achieve health and longevity. In African traditions, health is understood as a holistic concept that encompasses the mind, body, and spirit. This interconnectedness is at the core of African healing practices, where the well-being of an individual is seen as a reflection of balance within these three dimensions. The belief is that when one aspect of a person's being, whether mental, physical, or spiritual, is out of alignment, it can lead to illness and disharmony. Therefore, healing practices in Africa often aim to restore equilibrium between these three elements, recognizing that physical health alone is insufficient if the mind and spirit are neglected. This holistic approach is deeply embedded in African culture, where health is viewed as a state of balance and harmony with the world around us. One of the key components of African holistic health is herbal medicine. For centuries, African communities have relied on the natural environment to provide remedies for a variety of ailments. Plants and herbs are considered not only as medicinal resources, but also as spiritual tools that carry energy and healing properties. In many African societies, healers known as herbalists or traditional doctors play an essential role in maintaining the health of the community. These individuals are highly respected for their knowledge of plants, animals, and natural forces, which they use to create remedies that address both physical and spiritual concerns. Herbal medicine in African cultures is often used in combination with other healing practices, such as prayer or ritual offerings, to ensure that the body and spirit are both treated. For example, in West Africa, the use of herbal medicine is widespread, with plants like neem, moringa, and bitter kola being commonly used for their healing properties. These plants are often administered in teas, poultices, or as part of sacred rituals. The healing process goes beyond just the physical symptoms. Many herbs are chosen for their spiritual significance, as they are believed to cleanse negative energy and restore balance within the body and soul. The holistic nature of herbal medicine in Africa is an example of how physical healing is intertwined with spiritual well-being. The belief is that by using these natural resources, a person can heal not only their body but also their spirit, which ultimately promotes long-term health and longevity. Another crucial aspect of African holistic health is ritual cleansing, which is seen as a way to rid the individual of negative energies or spiritual blockages that may be causing illness or misfortune. Ritual cleansing is practiced in many African communities, often under the guidance of spiritual leaders or healers. These cleansing rituals can take many forms, including bathing in sacred rivers, fasting, or participating in purification ceremonies. The purpose of these rituals is to remove spiritual impurities and restore the individual's alignment with the divine forces of the universe. Cleansing is often performed in response to physical illness, emotional distress, or periods of bad luck. And it is believed that by purifying the body and spirit, individuals can regain their health and vitality. In the Zulu culture of Southern Africa, for instance, purification ceremonies are integral to maintaining good health. One common practice involves the use of sacred herbs and water to wash away harmful spiritual influences. These ceremonies are usually performed by traditional healers who invoke the ancestors and spirits to guide the healing process. The belief is that by cleansing both the body and spirit, an individual can regain their inner strength and protect themselves from future illness. This ritual cleansing, which combines both spiritual and physical elements, demonstrates how African healing practices view health as a multifaceted concept, one that cannot be separated into distinct categories of body and spirit. Divination is another practice that plays a key role in African holistic health. Diviners, also known as spiritual healers or shamans, are sought after when individuals experience health issues that cannot be explained through physical means alone. Divination allows the healer to tap into the spiritual realm to uncover the root causes of illness or misfortune. This practice is rooted in the belief that health is not solely a physical phenomenon, but is also deeply connected to spiritual forces and the ancestral realm. Through divination, the healer can gain insight into the spiritual imbalances or ancestral disturbances that may be affecting a person's well-being. In Nigeria, the Yoruba people rely heavily on divination practices to diagnose and treat illnesses. One of the most well-known divination methods is Ifa, a system that uses the interpretation of symbols and spiritual messages to determine the cause of an individual's health problems. Once the underlying spiritual issue is identified, the diviner may recommend various remedies such as sacrifices, prayers, or offerings to restore harmony and healing. This spiritual approach to health highlights the importance of addressing the root causes of illness rather than just focusing on physical symptoms. These practices, herbal medicine, ritual cleansing, and divination, are not just about treating illness. They are about fostering long-term health by harmonizing all aspects of the individual. By maintaining a balance between mind, body, and spirit, African cultures believe that people can live long and healthy lives, free from the disruptions that arise when any one aspect of their being is out of sync. The holistic approach to health in Africa emphasizes the importance of spiritual well-being as a cornerstone of physical health, reminding us that true wellness is not just the absence of disease, but a vibrant, balanced life that honors both the body and the spirit. In African cultures, the spiritual laws that govern longevity are deeply intertwined with the respect for ancestors, nature, and the community. These principles are rooted in the belief that life is not a solitary journey, but one that is connected to the past, present, and future. The concept of longevity in African traditions goes beyond merely living a long life. It is about living a life full of purpose, harmony, and alignment with the spiritual forces that guide human existence. The role of respect for elders, the community, and the natural world is central to these beliefs, forming a spiritual framework that not only promotes longevity but also ensures a life of fulfillment and well-being. Respect for ancestors plays a critical role in the spiritual laws of longevity across many African cultures. Ancestors are viewed as a powerful force, their spirits continuing to influence the lives of their descendants long after they have passed. The relationship between the living and the ancestors is reciprocal. While the living honor and remember the ancestors, it is believed that the ancestors, in turn, provide guidance, protection, and blessings for their descendants. This connection is vital to the well-being of the community and individual health. In many African traditions, the act of honoring ancestors through rituals, prayers, and offerings is considered essential for ensuring spiritual alignment and, by extension, a long and healthy life. In the Yoruba culture of Nigeria, the veneration of ancestors is an integral part of daily life. The Yoruba believe that each person's life is shaped by the ancestors, and that the spiritual guidance they receive from their forebears directly influences their health and well-being. Rituals and ceremonies dedicated to the ancestors are common, and these practices are seen as a way to maintain spiritual harmony and ensure protection against illness and misfortune. Elders in the Yoruba community are especially revered as they are seen as living embodiments of ancestral wisdom. Their role is not only to offer advice and counsel, but also to act as spiritual guides who can help maintain the balance necessary for longevity. Through regular ancestor worship and honoring of elders, the Yoruba people believe that they can invite the blessings of the past into their present lives, creating a pathway to both spiritual and physical well-being. Similarly, in the Zulu culture of Southern Africa, ancestors are believed to play a central role in the health and longevity of the living. The Zulu people view life as a continuous cycle, with the living, the ancestors, and the unborn all being connected in a spiritual chain. Ancestors are believed to have the power to affect the health of their descendants, and it is through honoring them that individuals can receive guidance and protection. The Zulu also place a high value on the wisdom of elders, who are regarded as the custodians of spiritual knowledge. Elders are tasked with preserving the traditions and values that have been passed down through generations, and their teachings are crucial for maintaining both the spiritual and physical health of the community. Respecting elders and performing regular ceremonies to honor the ancestors are seen as essential for fostering longevity. In the Maasai culture of the East Africa, the spiritual laws governing longevity are also closely tied to respect for nature, elders, and community. The Maasai believe that humans are part of a larger interconnected system that includes the land, animals, and the cosmos. Their spiritual practices emphasize the need to live in harmony with the natural world, as well as with the elders and the community. The Maasai view the land as sacred, and their health and longevity are believed to be directly tied to their relationship with the environment. The Maasai also place great importance on the role of elders in the community, as they are seen as the bearers of wisdom and spiritual guidance. Elders play a key role in the rites of passage that mark important stages in the lives of individuals, helping to ensure that each stage of life is lived with balance and respect for the spiritual laws that govern existence. For the Maasai, longevity is not just about the number of years lived, but about living in a way that honors the land, the ancestors, and the community. These examples illustrate a central theme in African spiritual laws for longevity: the importance of living in balance with the world around us. Whether it is the Yoruba, Zulu, Maasai, or other African cultures, the spiritual laws that promote long life are based on the belief that health is a reflection of spiritual harmony. This harmony is achieved through respect for ancestors, elders, and nature, as well as through rituals that maintain the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. In African traditions, longevity is seen as a collective endeavor, one that requires the individual to remain in spiritual alignment with the forces that govern life, as well as with the community and the environment. One of the most important aspects of these spiritual laws is the emphasis on balanced living. In many African cultures, longevity is not simply the result of avoiding disease, but the outcome of a life lived with intention, mindfulness, and respect for the forces that shape existence. Practices such as balanced diets, physical exercise, and spiritual rituals are all seen as ways to maintain this balance. For example, many African communities emphasize the importance of maintaining a healthy diet that is aligned with the seasons and the local environment. Foods are often chosen for their spiritual significance as well as their nutritional value, with certain foods believed to provide protection against illness and contribute to long life. In addition to dietary practices, physical activity is also integral to the African concept of longevity. In many cultures, physical labor such as farming, herding, or hunting is seen as not only a means of sustenance but also a way to maintain physical health and spiritual vitality. These activities are often done in close connection with nature, reinforcing the idea that true health and longevity come from living in harmony with the earth. Physical exercise, combined with spiritual practices and a balanced lifestyle, is seen as the key to achieving a long and fulfilling life. Ultimately, the spiritual laws governing longevity in African cultures are not just about extending the years one lives, but about living those years in a way that is spiritually fulfilling, physically healthy, and in harmony with the natural world. These laws offer a profound reminder that true health is not just the absence of disease, but a balanced life that honors the ancestors, respects nature, and nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. By living in accordance with these spiritual laws, individuals can achieve not only a long life, but a life full of purpose, peace, and spiritual alignment. In African cultures, food is much more than sustenance. It is viewed as a vital force that connects individuals to the earth, the spiritual world, and their ancestors. The relationship between food and spirituality is deeply embedded in African traditions, where what we eat is seen as an extension of our spiritual practice. Food is not just about physical nourishment. It is also a way to maintain harmony with nature and honor the spiritual forces that govern life. For many African communities, the act of preparing and consuming food is a sacred ritual, one that aligns the body, mind, and spirit with the universe. One of the key themes in African diets is the understanding that food is a powerful form of energy that can either heal or harm the individual, depending on how it is prepared, consumed, and respected. The belief is that eating the right foods in the right way is a spiritual practice that helps maintain balance and good health. In many African cultures, food is seen as both a physical and spiritual nourishment, with different foods carrying distinct energies or properties that affect both the body and the spirit. Certain foods are believed to bring strength, clarity, or spiritual protection, while others are seen as purifying or cleansing. The way food is prepared, blessed, and consumed is often a reflection of the community's connection to the divine and to the natural world. In West Africa, staple foods like sorghum, millet, and yam hold significant spiritual meaning and are deeply connected to the land. Sorghum and millet are not just common grains, but are revered for their ability to nourish both the body and the soul. These grains are often used in sacred rituals and ceremonies, where they are offered to the gods and ancestors as a symbol of gratitude and respect. In many cultures, such as the Wolof people of Senegal, sorghum is considered a sacred food that symbolizes fertility, abundance, and connection to the earth. It is believed that eating these grains strengthens the bond between the individual and the land, ensuring physical health and spiritual well-being. Similarly, yams are a staple food in many African countries, including Nigeria, Ghana, and Ivory Coast, and they carry deep spiritual significance. Yams are often associated with abundance, fertility, and the harvest, and they are considered a gift from the earth. In many African communities, yams are seen as a food that connects the individual to the ancestors, as they are believed to be the food of the spirits. Yams are often used in rituals and ceremonies to honor the ancestors and seek blessings for health and prosperity. In Nigeria, for example, the annual New Yam Festival is a major cultural event where the first yams of the season are presented to the gods and ancestors as a way of thanking them for a bountiful harvest. The festival symbolizes the deep spiritual connection that the community has to the earth and to the divine, and it underscores the importance of food in maintaining spiritual health. In addition to these staple foods, many African communities incorporate a variety of fruits, vegetables, and herbs into their diets, each with its own spiritual and healing properties. For example, in Southern Africa, the baobab fruit is considered a symbol of life and longevity. Known as the tree of life, the baobab tree provides a fruit that is rich in vitamin C, antioxidants, and other nutrients that promote physical health. But beyond its nutritional value, the baobab fruit is also viewed as a spiritual symbol, representing resilience, vitality, and the connection between the people and the earth. Consuming baobab fruit is believed to enhance one's energy and vitality, not only by nourishing the body, but by fortifying the spirit. Herbs also play a crucial role in African diets, with many communities using them for both culinary and spiritual purposes. In East Africa, for instance, ginger and garlic are common ingredients used in cooking, but they are also believed to have protective and healing qualities. Ginger is thought to ward off evil spirits and cleanse the body of toxins, while garlic is seen as a powerful purifier that can protect individuals from spiritual harm. The spiritual significance of herbs and plants in African diets reflect the belief that food is not just about physical sustenance, but is also an essential component of spiritual health. By consuming foods that are imbued with positive spiritual energy, individuals can maintain a sense of balance and connection to the spiritual world. The connection between food and spiritual health is also evident in the way that food is shared and consumed in African communities. In many cultures, communal eating is a central part of social and spiritual life. Sharing food is not only a way to nourish the body, but is also seen as a way to strengthen the bonds between individuals and the community. The act of eating together is viewed as a spiritual practice that reinforces the importance of unity, harmony, and respect for others. Meals are often accompanied by prayers or blessings, where the community gives thanks for the food and asks for protection, abundance, and good health. In some African traditions, the way food is prepared and consumed also reflects the importance of spiritual rituals. For example, in some parts of West Africa, food is prepared with specific prayers and rituals to ensure that it is spiritually clean and free from negative energy. In many communities, food is never eaten without first being blessed, and the blessing is seen as a way to purify the food and ensure that it nourishes both the body and the spirit. The idea is that food should be treated with respect, as it is a gift from the earth and the ancestors, and consuming it mindfully is a way to honor the divine forces that sustain life. These traditions emphasize that true health is not merely the absence of illness, but the presence of balance with nature, with ancestors, and with the community. African cultures teach us that spirituality is at the core of health, and by nurturing our spiritual well-being, we can maintain physical health and live long, fulfilling lives. Practices like ancestor veneration, herbal medicine, ritual cleansing, and divination demonstrate the holistic approach to wellness that has allowed African communities to thrive for centuries. One of the key aspects of these spiritual laws is the deep respect for elders and ancestors. In many African traditions, it is believed that the spirits of those who came before us continue to guide and protect us. Honoring them through rituals and maintaining a spiritual connection is considered essential for ensuring good health and longevity. Furthermore, the importance of balanced living through diets that nourish both body and spirit is a testament to how food is viewed as both a physical and spiritual sustenance. Whether it's the sacred grains of sorghum and millet or the life-giving energy of yams, African diets offer much more than nourishment. They are a spiritual practice that connects individuals to the earth and to the divine. These traditions also highlight the value of living in harmony with the environment. In cultures like the Maasai, for instance, the relationship with the land and animals is seen as a key to long life. When people live in tune with nature and treat it with reverence, they foster health and well-being. Whether it is through the spiritual rituals of the Zulu or the holistic healing practices of the Yoruba, African cultures emphasize the importance of aligning one's life with the natural and spiritual world. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook the spiritual dimensions of health. However, as we face modern challenges such as stress, illness, and environmental degradation, the wisdom of African spiritual laws offers invaluable lessons. By integrating spiritual practices, holistic healing methods, and a reverence for nature into our own lives, we can promote better health and longevity, just as these cultures have done for generations. I encourage you to explore your own cultural and spiritual practices, whether through meditation, herbal remedies, or connecting with nature. Find ways to nurture your spiritual health and bring balance to your life. If you enjoyed learning about these ancient traditions, make sure to subscribe for more content on world cultures and holistic health. Join us in discovering how we can integrate these age-old practices into our modern lives to achieve true wellness and longevity.